My current job is a resourcing advisor at Viasat. Viasat is a telecommunications company, so we have our own fleet of satellites. So it's recruiting roles within the telecommunication and space industry. The subjects I really enjoyed at school were science and maths, but I actually really enjoyed languages. So I did German and French up to GCSE. Weirdly, I moved to Germany, so I ended up using my GCSE German in my day-to-day life, and working at the European Space Agency, the second language is French, and I got to work with people from all over Europe, so having some knowledge in different languages really helped communicate with other people just in their own languages and learning about their cultures as well. My career journey, yes, has been very varied. I started off at the University of Leicester, had a bachelor's in physics with astrophysics. After graduating, I joined the National Space Centre as space crew, then moving on to the education team as an education officer, where I got to teach children and members of the public about space. Following that, I moved to Darmstadt, Germany to work at ESA's ESOC, which is their European Space Operations Centre, working as a spacecraft controller, working on launches, working on routines of satellites and monitoring satellites' health and data, making sure that they were working okay. And then after that, I realised I didn't want to be an engineer. I'm not engineer-minded, but I am quite people-minded and like talking to people, interacting with people. So I moved into business development and to recruitment to find people to work within the space industry. And so since then, my role has been mainly focusing on recruitment. Working abroad was really interesting. It's something I never thought I would do until one of my friends from university, who was already out in Germany working at Viasat, encouraged me to send my CV to him for a role. And it took some persuading to up and leave the country, but actually it's probably one of the best things I ever did. When I was there, I got to interact with people from all over Europe. So I have friends from Italy, Portugal, of course, German, France, and it really got to open my eyes into different cultures, different countries, different people. And then working at the European Space Agency for Serco was just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Work in the big mission control rooms that you see on TV and working on launches. That in particular, I'll never forget. I think it was the highlight of my career. A typical day for me is speaking to candidates for the various roles that we're trying to fill, speaking to hiring managers to find out what sort of people they're looking for. So not just looking at the job description, but really finding out tools, processes, and sort of personality that they're looking for. And then looking for candidates online as opposed to just responding to the applications that we get, so quite proactive in looking for people as well. I think that having experience in spacecraft operations has definitely helped to find people within the industry. During my space operations time, I got to work with people from different roles, whether they're engineering or they're finance or software engineers or flight dynamics, and by actually working with these people and knowing the sort of people that are in the roles, what sort of backgrounds they've come from, what sort of people they are, it does help to find the people for the roles because I know them more personally rather than just looking at a job description on a piece of paper. I love what I do because it's a very sociable role. I get to speak to different people from different backgrounds, different experiences, different careers, and that way I get to learn a lot about them and about what they do. And I'm recruiting for the space industry, which is my passion. I love the fact that I'm in the space industry. And even though I'm not directly in it in an engineering function, I think it's something that I'd always want to stay in. To be honest, growing up, to work in the space industry, you probably had to work for NASA. That's what our reality growing up, or what we thought was our reality growing up, and you had to be American. But then actually studying at the University of Leicester, finding out about the UK space industry, which wasn't up and coming then as it is now, which is actually really exciting to see. But having to move to Europe to work in the space industry, it was a bit of a shock being one of the few women there. There wasn't many women. There was definitely not many people of colour there. I got so used to being surrounded by people who didn't look like me that coming back to Leicester, I was like, oh, hang on. Yes, there are people who look like me. And my experience now, there are more people from different backgrounds, diverse backgrounds. And it's just really interesting to see how the industry has evolved over the years. I think people should consider a career in the space industry, whether you're in recruitment, whether you're an engineer, if you want to be an astronaut, if you're into finance. Space is for everyone. There's not one size fits all. You can do absolutely anything. You want to be a biologist, you want to be a doctor. And that's one thing that I like to do alongside my job, is to inspire the public and actually the younger generation that space is really interesting and you can do anything in it. The UK space sector is exciting, and now we have our own UK space agency. We have a European Space Agency site in Harwell. The fact that we're having spaceports located around the country, it's just really incredible to see that the space industry here has evolved. And actually for me to move back from Germany and know there's all these opportunities, all these different companies that I could work for. And coming from Leicester, having the space park around the corner and seeing all the industry moving there, it's just really exciting and makes me think, okay, there's a lot happening and it's right on my doorstep. And how incredible is that for 10-year-old Asha to see now I'm a bit older?